Hunt is the author, the co-author of what, hang on, let me just really properly do the homework, what has been described as the ultimate Springsteen manual. Well, Springsteen big stuff these days, but in the early days when Chris Hunt was a real admirer, still is a real admirer, but when he first started being a real admirer, Bruce Springsteen was a very, very much an acquired taste. It's all right to say that, yes, but it was very, very early days indeed. Should be very interesting indeed. Book really splits into two parts, and Chris is the expert on all the records, all the bootlegs, all the memorabilia, that sort of business, but of course knows the biography as well. That's between 11 and 12 o'clock tonight. I've just been saying, a little bit of a special occasion tonight. We're talking about Bruce Springsteen, and no one better to talk about Bruce Springsteen than the co-author of the book, Bruce Springsteen, Blinded by the Light. Guy from Solihull, in fact, Chris Hunt, who's with us now. Stardom at last. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Mick.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in. Bruce Springsteen himself, I mean, you've obviously got to be very, very interested in the man in order to write the book.
Oh yeah, for possibly 11 years now. It's been a big part of my life, and it's purely the music and the collecting of Bruce Springsteen that this book has come about.
Going back 11 years is actually quite a long time.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not the expert on Bruce Springsteen. I mean, obviously I like his music and I listen to it, but I don't know the history of him.
Yeah.
Now, he was quite young himself in those days, wasn't he? And very unknown, I would think.
11 years ago, I was probably the original Bruce Bohr, is the term currently phrased. Yes.
Yeah.
I was probably the original.
Yeah.
It stems from the day a friend of mine, Paul Taberner, brought in a record for me to hear, and it was The Wild, the Innocent and the E Street Shuffle, and from that time I've been an ardent Bruce fan.
But right against the stream in those early days, that's what I'm saying. I mean, everybody must have said, who?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, up until 12, 18 months ago, over half the population of Bruce who? Bruce Forsyth. It was a joke.
Well, you're absolutely right, and he was a bit of an acquired taste, or he was a connoisseur's man in those days, wasn't he?
He was a large cult, underground cult.
Yeah. Are you actually just a little bit miffed and peeved now that he is so popular and that you're not spectacular anymore?
Well, I was
now.
never spectacular, but in a way you've sort of lost the guy in some ways. For one reason, Wembley '81, when he was popular but not sort of mega popular, you could get to meet Bruce sort of outside Wembley Arena, not stadium, if you were prepared to wait till 3 o'clock in the morning, and Bruce would come out and then happily sign autographs and what have you. Oh yeah.
What was he doing till 3 o'clock in the morning? And you would just wait there for him?
Yeah. Well, not just me. About sort of 30, 40 people every night would be outside the gigs, and it was part of. And that to me was never intruded on Bruce's private life, which I wouldn't do. I wouldn't go hang around the hotels or where he might
turn up
be.
on his doorstep and just embarrass him. I mean, that must be dreadful.
Oh yeah. But Bruce. I met Bruce in '81, and he was great. But this time round, being so big, he just hasn't got the time.
Yeah, but surely you've got a bit more clout now. I mean, there can't be many books about Springsteen.
Well, unfortunately, this book is coming out actually the week beginning August 1st to the 8th, and it wasn't out when Bruce was here, unfortunately. If it had been, he's the sort of guy, a genuine sort of guy, that might have asked to have seen me and Patrick.
Yes.
There's no way me and Patrick could have got to see him. It
really?
It would have had to have been through Bruce. Bruce would have had to say, "Come, I want to see you guys."
Now, is that because of the character of the man, or is it because now he is who he is? He's very protected.
Oh no, he's always been a very private guy, and I've always respected that. And the whole book, although it traces his whole career, it's very rarely touches on his personal and private life.
Yeah.
So
is that because of that respect you have for him? You think that's no business of the press or books or anything like? Because a lot of people they want to get inside the character they admire, don't they?
Well, there's a lot of books, predominantly Elvis Presley, where that unnecessary tarnishing of a guy's career was sort of brought about. But to me, it's the music and Bruce's career, and I think everything the general fan will want to know is actually in this book.
Yes. So, for instance, if I'm not saying he does, but if he did have a strange character, you wouldn't be at all interested. What's important to you is the music.
Yeah, it would obviously be noted in the book, but I mean, as far as we know, Bruce is
a good, clean, wholesome guy, or words to that effect.
Words to that effect.
Yeah, all right. We must go more into it, and into the writing of the book, because that's got an interesting history to it, hasn't it? A couple of moments' time, if we can.
Put 1, 2, 3, 4. Like a breeze. In the fire eater's line, in a pool of sweat, victim of the heat wave. stop.
Chris Hunt's with us tonight, the co-author of a book called Bruce Springsteen, Blinded by the Light, and I'll tell you the details of the book a little bit later on. The book itself's interesting because it's a total split personality effort, isn't it? I mean, it splits into two sections, really.
Yeah, there's two definite parts of it. Patrick's first part is basically the scenario, the text. Patrick sort of lays out a very sort of great sort of scenario of Bruce's career and the little tidbits of information, and he sort of sets that sort of scene.
Yes, whereas yours...
My side of things is purely the career details.
It's like a filing system, yours, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
the Bruce files is actually listed as the Bruce files.
Well, that's interesting. Now, how did this start? Because obviously that's a very special sort of interest. Did you just explain your interest in it? How did you come together, the two authors?
Well, again, I got made redundant from my work as a display technician. And I was redundant for about 2-3 months, and in that 2 or 3 months, saved me from going sort of crazy. Apart from looking for jobs, I started putting together my sort of all my facts, figures, and information that I had accumulated since late '74 down onto paper. I sort of made a photostat of about 40 or 50 pages of what I called the Bruce files. And this, via a good friend of mine, Michael Zabaroff, and a Canadian photographer, Lawrence Kirsch, got into the hands of Patrick Humphries, journalist, who was thinking of writing a book on Bruce Springsteen.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
So you, in fact, provided a nice shortcut for Patrick.
Yeah, with that, it was never the intention for me to tout the book round to be published. It was purely for 40 or 50 fans, which I basically knew on the network,
yes,
the Bruce network.
The Bruce network. Love it.
And I say, for my side of things, fortunately, Patrick got in touch with me. He'd done all the spade work. He got the negotiating the book with Plexus, the publishing, well, Eel Pie at the time, and now Plexus. And so Patrick was the mainstay of getting the book.
It actually says something
together.
for Patrick. I mean, talking on personal terms about you and your career, it says something for Patrick that he took on board this total dark horse, this stranger, because he had a very useful... I mean, if he'd been more of a weasel, he would have just bought you out and sent you packing, wouldn't he?
Well, Patrick's not that kind of guy. Well, most Bruce fans aren't, but...
oh, come on.
Well, all the ones
I mean, you're sinking in a rosy glow, you are, aren't you? We Bruce people are all wonderful.
Well, I did say the original Bruce Ball, but no. I must admit, you do hear these stories of being ripped off in the rock and the pop and the publishing world. And I was a little bit sceptical.
Yeah.
I was, well, regardless of Patrick being sceptical, I was a little bit sceptical of releasing my information until we got something in black and white.
But yours is the pure scholarship of the whole thing, isn't it? I mean, yours isn't I know there's nothing scurrilous there, but yours isn't the great revealing bit. It's just interesting. Sort of filing system, literally filing system.
Yeah, it's 20 years of Bruce Springsteen's career from 65 to 85.
Listen, when you talk about that, I wouldn't know where to begin on things like that, because I've never had that sort of temperament that would follow a performer through like that. Now, what sort of things do you collect? I mean, going back to 74, what have you got?
Well, in 74 there was very little to collect, but by 75 the hype, as it came about, Bruce's hype, there was all sorts of posters and badges and obviously the records. There's records and there's rare records and there's promotion records, acetates, white labels.
Now, how do you begin to get hold of those? That's when it begins to get quite interesting, when you get hold of acetates and first pressings and things like this.
Yeah, oh, this is all part of the
And you can do
collecting.
that, you could do that.
Well, again,
did
it's... Yeah, oh yeah. I've got one of the best collections in England.
Well, how do you do it? I mean, are you just a real menace with record companies and you keep writing after them?
No.
What do you do?
No, it's basically... It's a fans book, almost by the fans, because the fans, myself included, they write to me, I write to them, they ring from America, Japan.
Do they?
Oh yeah, and I send them the British sort of pressings, the latest British news, and in return they send me the Japanese, the American, the Argentinian. It's worldwide, you know. I mean, it would probably astound Bruce Springsteen if
if only he knew. Well, he probably will know. Let's pause just a moment there. We'll go into a bit more in a few minutes' time. Hunt with us tonight, the co-author of Bruce Springsteen, Blinded by the Light. You just used the word, the hype. Only you used it about a year 75, you said?
It was 75 when the hype as I know it was about.
Yeah, there's malicious tongues at the moment saying, and I think someone has actually written in one of the music papers, done my homework bits, you see, saying, this is just pure hype, the man is hugely overrated, that it's all done on hype at the moment.
Well, obviously I defend that point of view. You've only got to see the man to realise how good he is. And after seeing Bruce Springsteen live, you might as well almost throw the records away, because they're purely memorabilia of the event of seeing him live. After you've seen Bruce Springsteen live.
Why do you say that? What do you mean?
Well, anybody who's seen it, have you seen it?
No, I haven't. You seen it? I haven't. No.
Well, you're not one of the
talk to you.
converted.
Yes, I am, but I never get the chance. You see, I do this show. Here I am sitting here. This time of night, I can't go to the concert.
It is a cliche that you do have to see him. And
But why? Tell me, what's so different? I mean, is the act different? Is the stereo better? What are you saying?
Oh, no, it's just Bruce's personality that it comes out. When I first bought The Wild and the Innocent, the E Street Shuffle, and then Born to Run just came out, and he was playing the Hammersmith Odeon down in London. Me and my friend Paul went to see him, and I like Born to Run. I loved the second album, and but it wasn't until I saw him that I thought, this guy is it. This Bruce Springsteen.
Or is it the stage presence? Is it the way he sings the songs differently? Is it the way he behaves with the audience? What is it?
It's a combination of everything, but basically it's what he does to you. He makes it feel. I know it sounds funny, but he does sound as if he's talking to you on stage, whether there's 7,000 or 70,000 people in that arena. You feel that the hairs on the back of your neck sort of. He's talking to you.
That's interesting. Yeah, but is that very much a two-way thing, in that you're so committed to what he's doing that therefore it comes through all more strongly to you?
Well, to be honest, I didn't think I was going to enjoy the 1985 concerts simply because he was playing these mega gigs, and I went with a lot of reservations. I thought, I'm not going to enjoy this, But having said that, the 85 shows were probably better than the 81 shows.
Tell me this, because how do I put this? And I don't mean this brutally, because I do like the music, but it also seems to me a bit sombre.
Well, it's like Bruce says, his concerts, there's a bit of everything of what you're looking for. In his, whether you want to be sombre, there's something sombre in his concerts and meaningful. Whether you just want a good time, dancing, partying type of thing, that's...
Does that as well? So you say he does have the variety?
He's got the variety, and he can... Parts of his stage concerts are obviously an act, if you like, the routines, but I mean they're so well done that you don't think they are an act. You think it is, and a lot of it is spontaneous, but the rehearsed bits look so natural that you think this.
You would argue he's a good musician as well.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a good musician.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, a songwriter as well. Let's not forget that for many people. Really.
Yeah. Well, the title of our book, Blinded by the Lights. I mean, everybody associates it with Man from Man.
Of course, yes.
It's Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Well, how did you come to choose a title for a book?
Well, funny enough, again, we had about 3 different titles. The original, which we didn't pick, was Reasons to Believe, song title Bruce, which is obviously too Tim Hardin-ish. Then we wanted Streets of Fire, but unfortunately the film, the same name, came out, so that was squashed. Then I was hoping that Born in the USA album would give us a title, and apart from possibly Glory Days, No Surrender, we weren't over happy with any of the titles, so we plumped for Blinded by the Light, which was track 1, side 1 of his first album. Oh, so it's the clever stuff as well being an apt title, because it's apt in all sorts of levels, isn't it? Oh yeah. I mean, you can read it into it a little bit of what you want to know. Blinded by the Light, whether it's a fan who's blinded by the light, or
Or Bruce himself is blinded by the light or whatever, yes. I mean, it's under all sorts of interpretations. I'll tell you what I'd love to, first of all, I mean, a man lands another man in it. I know you've written the file side of things and the collecting side of things. You obviously know about the biography, don't you? I mean, you know about Bruce's story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, can we go into that in a couple of moments' time?
Yeah, sure.
All right.